Meteorological Institute and a partner that we collaborate with, the Norwegian Water Resources and Energy Directorate. Because in Norway, as in many other countries around the world, it's a shared responsibility. The Met Institute are responsible for severe weather warnings, and NVE in Norway and similar hydrological organizations around the world are responsible for example, flood warnings, avalanche, and landslides. So that is the starting point in Norway as well, that we have a shared responsibility, and we have separate value chains. So this is how the value chains look at the moment. To the left, you can see the value chain from the Met Institute, and to the right, you can see the value chain for from NVE. And as you can see, there are similarities between the two value chains. They both start with some type of input data or observations, and you have the modeling, you have some analysis or post-processing of the data, and you got the warning and the dissemination and users and action and feedback, and start the loop over again. But even we have separate responsibilities and separate value chains, we are not entirely separate. Rather, there is a close collaboration between us. And for many years, we have collaborated, for example, with input data from the Met Institute to the hydrological models. We have daily meetings online, and we always discuss before we issue a warning where rain or flood or flash floods are involved. We also use the same color system for the warnings, using the yellow, orange, and red colors. And we both use Common Alerting Protocol, or the CAP format, for the warnings. And we also share the warnings on each other's websites and try to be consistent across the websites. And we disseminate or send the warnings to Media Alarm as well. And this is how we have done it for many years. Last summer, in 2019, we saw that it was very many heavy rain showers leading to floods and severe damages. And it was more than what we have experienced earlier. And because of this, we started to discuss it more closely, and we decided, or we agreed, that it was a need to be better prepared for the future, because we all expect these events to happen more frequently in the future, with heavy rain showers becoming more intense, leading to even more flash flooding. So that was the background for putting together a task team with 3 members from the Met Institute and 3 members from the Hydrological Institute, NVE. Started in 2019, it was established. And the objective that was given was to explore the opportunities to improve the collaboration for warning of heavy rain showers and flash floods. And as a start, we sat together and analyzed the existing value chains, both of them, and tried to find strengths and weaknesses with both value chains. Looked for ideas where we could improve. And we also reviewed literature, and we talked to experts on modeling or communication or observations or the different parts of the value chains to look for input and get more ideas how to improve it. And this resulted in, as you can see to the right in the picture, a report written in Norwegian. At the moment, it's only an internal report, but it was a lot of suggestions for how to improve the value chains or the forecasting of severe weather. And in short-term actions, we had actually over 40 suggestions, and for more long-term action points, it was a little bit less, but still more than 20 suggestions how to improve the warning. One of the key action points was to try to merge the two value chains. More specific, for the flash flood warnings. This is just a first draft, how it can look, how the final merged or combined value chain will look. But we see that there are similar steps and also connections, like the daily brief, where we both try to analyze the model data and observations. And we issue the warnings on some of the same platforms and websites. And we also have evaluation seminars to discuss after the season. So there are clearly similarities between the two value chains, and they could be better coordinated. And that also relates to how we issue the warnings, and that we want to give more consistent information coming from the same information coming from both of us, rather than two separate warnings. So if we look at some of the other action points, they were connected to all steps of the value chain. And we also introduced a completely new step in the value chain that was more on the organizational level. And both administrative coordination, operational coordination, and with respect to communication. So we can be better coordinated on all of these. However, most of the action points were on the latter part of the value chain, and especially related to the analysis and use of data by operational forecasters, both meteorologists and hydrologists. It was connected to the dissemination of the warnings, and also many action points connected to user aspects and the communication. This might indicate that there is an abundance of data. For example, a lot of observations, increasingly use of or access to ensemble prediction data that are not fully exploited by the forecasters because it's just too much information to handle. And it also indicates that there might be a room to improve the warning system, or at least to simplify it, both the system itself and the form and the content of the messages. We also work with some other action points on short term. Some of them are completed. Before, in 2019, when there was an event with heavy rain, showers, and landslides, we issued two separate warnings. But from this summer of 2020, we merged them, or we combined them, so now we only issue one warning for heavy rain showers, and the flash floods and landslides are mentioned as consequences of the rain showers in the same warning. However, if there are landslides that are not primarily caused by the showers, you can still issue a warning for landslides separately. We are much better prepared to warn short time in advance of an event. And for example, we have done technical improvements, so the dissemination are quicker now. It's 10 minutes quicker to get the warning from the forecaster, issue the warning to its online on the websites. And the icons that you can see in the upper right corner are also new. So rather than having one icon for rain and one for landslides, we made a new icon that is used only for the flash flood events. And we have coordinated the use of the terms that we use in our communication. We have also worked on the coordination between the two organizations. For example, a chat room that we use in addition to the daily online briefings. And we have, as mentioned, evaluation seminars after the season to discuss cases. And we also had an information campaign together where we aim to inform emergency managers like police or firemen. Several more are planned. This is an example of a tweet, a figure that we used, and we plan to increase the use of uncertainty information in illustrations like this, and to also increase the use of uncertainty information on the websites. And we have just started to work more closely together on user surveys or user studies to learn more about their needs. And we will also continue to improve the tools that the forecasters use to educate them in using them. On the long term, we have several action points. One example is a project that is just started, hydrometeorology to operations. And this is a several-year project to build a coupled model. And the aim is, of course, to improve the modeling, but also to give a better indication of the warning levels and the probability. We have to discuss more closely the long-term action points between the two organizations and decide upon where we should start working. Work has started with rain showers and flash floods. It could also be extended to other phenomena like rain and flooding, or other combinations that are shared, where we share the responsibility between us. So in summary, we plan to continue to improve our close collaboration. The task team is established, and the work is still ongoing to improve the flash flood warnings. And the two separate value chains will be merged at one point. In practice, we have merged most of the work, but we will continue working on that. And we will also continue to work on both short and long-term action points that are started or planned. Thank you.